the referee. These two clubs battle for the right to play Arsenal in the final of the Little Woods Cup. It's Luton in the white, playing from left to right. Tommy Caton is the Oxford captain, wearing number 6 there with the header. Here's Saunders, Rhodes Brown. And just a word about the rules today, for those of you that quite understandably find that they differ from one competition to another. The position here is that if the aggregate scores, which are already level after the first leg, are still level after 90 minutes, we have 30 minutes extra time, and if they're still all square, there's a third match scheduled for March the 9th. No away goals involved in the Little Woods Cup semi-finals. So as it was 1-1 at Oxford, we've got a typical one-off cup tie here. And Alan Judge in goal for Oxford is a former Luton player. That's a foul by Donaghy on Saunders. Caton and Briggs have both made their way forward here for Oxford to the edge of the penalty area. It's taken by Phillips. And Caton pulled up for a shove, and it gives me a chance to bring in Trevor Brooking for a brief word.
Well, I'm sure both sides realise the importance of the game, not only for the possibility of playing at Wembley, but of course for the revenue for both clubs. As you say, they don't get big gates, and the sort of revenue they will receive will be vital for the future, perhaps signings later this season and perhaps next season.
Les Phillips, number 10, offside. I was here for that 7-4 match 3 weeks ago, Trevor, and it was quite extraordinary, the amount of space the two attacks found.
I'll be really shocked if we get a 7-4 or a 5-2, because there's so much at stake, and I think in all these cup ties it'd be very important probably for the entertainment value if we get an early goal, whichever end it is.
Well, let's see if they can oblige one team or the other. Here's Ashley Grimes. Goalkeeper Les Seeley for Luton was involved in that penalty drama with Dean Saunders in the first leg. Mick Harford with Gary Briggs. That could be a contest to keep an eye on. Forward by Breaker. Here's Brian Steen. It's going to come to Danny Wilson. Corner to Luton. Well, the men to watch for here, without doubt, are Harford and Foster. They've got the height and the build, and they've got to be closely marked. The two Steens are in the 6-yard box. Danny Wilson to curl it in. Not very well, it might be said. Here's Foster. Wilson again. And given away. No, it's not. Dean Saunders played a 1-2 with the corner flag. Harford, Foster, Rob Johnson, Harford, Wilson, who's playing on the left of midfield. We've got Darren McDonough on the end of this. Harford!
Well, they nearly did oblige then, didn't they? And as we mentioned, it was a long cross right beyond everyone there, which was headed back by McDonough, and really a very acrobatic volley, which wasn't at all far past the angle, and it just emphasises that he's not good in the air alone. He is very good with the feet.
Darren McDonough, who got on the end of the cross, has made a very big contribution in the Luton midfield this season, number 4. It's a cool, dry day. In fact, the temperature is quite cold at kick-off time, but no problems, of course, on a day like this with a pitch like Luton's. Forward by Caton. Luton have had 7 successive home wins here, and Oxford haven't won away since November the 4th, when they beat Leicester in this competition. Foster for Luton. Harford. Wide to Breaker. Both the Steens making tracks in the middle. It went behind Mark Steen. Here he is, though, the younger of the two, Breaker. It was down this right-hand side that Tim Breaker gave Oxford so many headaches in the league match. I think Oxford will be shutting that down a bit more today. Here's Saunders, Foyle, it's a good ball. Bardsley loves to come forward from right back. And Oxford have thrown 4 players up with him. Saunders, I'll explain the booing in a minute. Back to Phillips. Foyle. The crowd are barracking the Oxford number 9, Dean Saunders, because there was a feeling that the penalties that he gained at the Manor Ground weren't necessarily justified, but I don't think there's any need to go back over that. They were given on the night. He missed one and he scored from one. Brian Steen. He got away from Dreyer. Mark Steen. Trevor Hebbard was the man that turned it back. And I think you'll find Trevor Hebbard today playing behind the other central defenders. He played in front of them at Oxford in the first leg, but they're using him more as a sweeper and letting Caton and Briggs pick up the front two. Phillips, Harford. Down the line by Bardsley, meant for Saunders, Donaghy across. I was pleased to hear Jimmy and Jim mentioning Mal Donaghy, because if you've watched football at Luton over these last few years, he really has been a commendably consistent player. Here's McDonough. Harford. McDonough again. Now Luton with Danny Wilson on the left. He's got Brian Steen out there as well. Ashley Grimes has gone further down the wing. There he is. 2 waiting in the centre. And it came off Bardsley. Corner. Well, if the delivery from Wilson is better than the first time round, then Luton have certainly got players in there to take advantage. Harford. Nick Harford's scored 6 goals in this competition so far, the same number as the opposite number 9, Saunders. And one of the few players in the Luton side to have experienced a cup final at Wembley, Steve Foster with Brighton. Three or 4 of the Oxford lads have been there 2 years ago. It's a little small ground, this, and on the far side the ball tends to go over those glass-fronted boxes and quite often into the street. That was Rob Johnson. Bardsley's up with Wilson. Foster with the clearance. People who have those boxes on the far side have the option of staying indoors when it's cold and sitting outside when they want to sample a crackling atmosphere like today. Foyle for Oxford, Wilson for Luton. That's a good-looking ball. Nick Harford. Both the Steens coming forward. That's Mark Steen. Johnson. Breaker. Rhodes-Brown. There's Phillips, number 10, with the throw. Getting it back, looking for Foyle. There's the sweeper, Heather, just coming round the back to collect. But anything onto Foster's head tends to come straight back. Brian Steen. Harford. Again, the midfield pushes forward, McDonough. Brian Steen again. Grimes. Towards Mark Steen. So there we are, 10 minutes gone in this second leg. Luton Town 0, Oxford United 0, and bear in mind, again, that aggregate is level from the first time round. So it's a straightforward battle today to see who can clinch the place at Wembley against Arsenal. Foster, Phillips. Ashley Grimes got a whack on the side of the face. Dean Saunders was the player involved. It's a Luton throw. Mark Steen, Grimes, Brian Steen. Good cross. Oh, well, Judge missed it. Tommy Caton was relieved that Harper didn't make contact. So corner to Luton. And Ashley Grimes will come across to this right-hand side because he can curl them with his left foot. Played back though for Wilson. And because the two teams have played each other so often recently, there's obviously going to be an attempt to try and alternate these set plays a bit and catch each other by surprise, Trevor.
Yes, I think the game, in fact, is almost a repeat of the first leg, really. Luton taking the early grip. Oxford, with their five-man defensive system, soaking up the pressure and really trying to utilise Dean Saunders' speed on the break. But at the moment, naturally enough, they're not getting much opportunity to do that, really. And it's all Luton pushing forward.
Which they're doing now with Ashley Grimes. Harford, good header. Brian Steen. Away by Bardsley. Donaghy.
I'd be a bit concerned about Brian Steen at the moment because remember in the first leg when in fact they pushed Trevor Hebbard out, the sweeper, to mark him. Today they're letting Trevor Hebbard just sweep behind and hoping that the midfield players are going to pick him up. But in fact, 2 or 3 occasions now he's been clear on that particular occasion for the cross he was, and it's something I think Maurice Evans might be a bit concerned about.
Yes, Maurice was here in the week watching the way Jim Smith's defence coped with Luton and their system of playing Brian Steen in that hole, and Maurice was saying to me only yesterday that Oxford were going to try and do what Rangers did, and indeed, but for an own goal, Rangers frustrated Luton most of that evening. I want to explain for those who don't watch Luton too often that Brian Steen plays just behind the 2 other strikers, his brother Mark and Mick Harford. Here's Foyle for Oxford, Bardsley. Rhodes-Brown with the goalkeeper and Seeley holding on quite firmly. There's quite a breeze blowing and there's some rain starting to fall now, which could make the surface slippery if it continues. Mr. Shakhtar spotting that there was an attempt to gain ground there, so it's going to be a Luton ball. Tim Breaker. Brian Steen. Hill. Richard Hill marking McDonough there successfully. Dreyer. Forward by Hebbard. Now Mark Steen. Breaker did well to get there. Hebbard had to come across. Well, the two Steens from these throw-ins tend to face the thrower and then try and spin into a forward position. It wasn't Jimmy Hill who was the injured player, by the way. It was Tim Breaker there. And he's back on his feet. It's all a bit tight down in that corner, I have to say. It's a very compact ground, this. That was Rob Johnson. Here's Mark Steen. McDonough. Offside, flags up. Wouldn't have counted from Darren McDonough. Rob Johnson. Brian Steen, and there's Mark Steen up against Caton. And the Oxford captain got an all-important foot in there to concede the corner. Good, fair challenge. Try again. Dreyer and Hebbard having to cover the near post area. Foster off the line by Les Phillips. McDonough. Saunders. Well, that's why teams have defenders on the goal line at corner kicks. Steve Foster, the man whose header it was, is prostrate in the penalty area and may need attention before Luton can take the corner. But Les Phillips there, the little fellow in the picture, was the man who headed that ball, who got that ball off the Oxford goal line from Steve Foster's header. He was on the post, and what an important save it could prove to be.
Well, it's Steve Foster lying there, injured at the moment. I was speaking to him beforehand. He had some stitches just over the eyebrow. He got an elbow there during the week against QPR, so I don't know whether it's his nose or the eyebrow where he had the original cut, but certainly it was a great header, and little Les Phillips, probably the smallest player in the Oxford side, handily placed on the goal line.
Ashley Grimes, as I was saying, can curl them with that left foot, and Foster got good contact. Goalkeeper wouldn't have got there, but Les Phillips did. And meantime, Dave Galley, the young Luton physiotherapist who recently joined the club, was formerly with manager Ray Harford at Fulham. He's attending to Steve Foster. On a day like this, a player who's not perhaps often in the headlines can make his name. And little Les Phillips, who I remember getting an important goal which took Oxford to Wembley a couple of years ago, certainly saved one there, and there's a loud cheer because the Luton player, coach and captain is back on his feet. It takes a bit to put Steve Foster out of action, I might say. So a corner again to Luton Town. The score is still 0-0. Wilson to take it. And Alan Church will appreciate a good catch there and a chance to look around. Grimes. Brian Steen's dummy, Mark Steen's touch, Wilson's cross. That's typical Luton football. Fast and accurate. But Oxford so far are coping reasonably well in defence. Mark Steen. Brian Steen. Free kick. Brian Steen was fouled by Briggs, and it's given Luton the chance to push Donaghy forward this time, as well as Foster. That was Foyle up in front of Brian Steen. Overhead from Grimes, Mark Steen. Donaghy, Grimes. Harford's coming in for the header.
A good save, it just didn't quite get the power behind it. It was a good header, he got in front of the defender, Ashley Grimes, who's got a sweet left foot, floats it across. There Mickey Harford just get in first, but it was a floater rather than a powerful header, and Alan Judge comfortably held it. It looked a little bit more spectacular than it was.
So the two most worthy goal-bound efforts so far have come from the home team, Luton Town. And Ashley Grimes was the provider there. "29 years since Luton's one and only Wembley appearance. Will Snowler ran it, Caton in the way. And indeed, of the Oxford team that won this competition 2 years ago, there are only 4 survivors in the side today. So the prospect of a cup final is something new to many of these players. McDonough is on the edge of the area, Harford is to his left. Johnson, that was Brian Steen. Caton going for safety. Mark Steen, away by Phillips. Now well collected by Martin Foyle. Saunders, a touch on to Hill, it could go right again. David Bardsley, former Watford player. Away by Foster. Good ball, Phillips to Rhodes-Brown. Saunders coming near post.
That was a good example of the problem sometimes of playing on the artificial pitch. Les Phillips, it was a pretty good ball out wide to Peter Rhodes-Brown, and it just ran away from him. He stretched to keep it in, but then again the ball ran away, and when he tried to get his cross in, he didn't wrap his left foot round, found it, and he put it behind the goal. But Luton are showing really the ideal way to play. They knock it to feet. Very difficult to play it into space because it just runs away from you. So most of the time you'll find Luton in particular are so used to their home surface, will just knock it into feet and play one touch.
Well, we're over halfway through the first half of this second leg of the semi-final of the Littlewoods Cup, coming to you live from Kenilworth Road, Luton. There's no score today, which means the teams remain absolutely level following that first leg draw. And that's forward by Bardsley for Oxford. Phillips to Foyle. Phillips again. Saunders couldn't quite make it. It's come to Rhodes-Brown. And now to Dreyer. Well, Tim Breaker with the impetuous challenge has given away a free kick. Chance then for Tommy Caton and Gary Briggs to come forward. Bardsley has come across to take it. Caton and Hill nearer to the kicker. That long kick by Les Seeley finds Mark Steen. Wilson. Breaker. Settle for the corner off Dreyer. McDonough's in the penalty area this time. That's Harford. Bardsley, back by Saunders to Briggs. Great running by Bardsley. Onside, the ball will run on the plastic surface and gave Les Sealey the chance to hammer it away.
On most pitches, that would have been a great ball. It was a super run from David Bardsley. As soon as it hit the deck, it just skidded those extra 5 or 10 yards, and Les Sealey, of course, so used to that, knowing how the ball was going to bounce, made sure he was on the edge of his area, came running out and cleared certainly what on most pitches would have been a great chance.
One of the great characters of the game on the pitch now, Ken Fish, the Oxford physio into his 70s, the man who went up the steps at Wembley 2 years ago when they won, you may remember. He's attending to Gary Briggs, who's got a facial cut. And on the other side of the pitch, Dave Galley is on to give more attention to Steve Foster, who may be concussed following that fall at the other end about 5 minutes ago.
Having seen a replay earlier when you could see the collision, it's on his left eyebrow, I think. I mean, fortunately, his cut in the week was on the right, so he's just got a matching pair, I think, now.
Well, these two number 5s are among the toughest men in the business, so I'm quite certain it won't be long before they're both back heading the ball. In fact, Gary Briggs scored with a very good header, I remember, against Manchester United in the quarter-final. Foyle. Donaghy. 25 minutes you saw gone. 0-0. Dreyer's header, Rhodes-Brown. Dreyer again. It was Donaghy. Phillips. Foyle with Sealey. That's a free kick. Referee Lester Shapter having a word with Martin Foyle, a lad who's really got a First Division chance second time round. He was one of the young strikers at Southampton under Laurie McMenemy a few years ago, went out to Aldershot and now plays up front with Saunders for Oxford. Forward by Dreyer. Foster. Foyle. Saunders, oh, it's a good ball. Rhodes-Brown, Hill's in the middle here. It's going to run on for Saunders. No, McDonough stepped in. That was Oxford's best move so far. Gather that Steve Foster's cheekbone is what's causing concern. This is chance for Oxford to break away. Foster, in fact, just trying to get to Foyle there. This is Rhodes-Brown. And Richard Hill is pushing on when he can from the number 4 position. He chased all the way through there and had that touch in the last move, which almost provided a goal-scoring opportunity. Good long kick by Alan Judge, which he used to good effect in the first leg. Bardsley, Hill. See the blood on Gary Briggs' shirt there. But he'll make his way forward for the free kick. So will Caton. Tommy Caton up there, breaker away. Phillips, Rhodes-Brown for Oxford. Good little ball in, Foyle. Bardsley. Now, Brian Steen with a chance to develop something for Luton. Phillips is chasing back with him. Wilson out left. Two others coming from this side of the pitch. Grimes. Caton out as far as Rob Johnson. Well, I don't think he's ever scored in his Luton career, but today wouldn't have been a bad one to get off the mark. Well, you expect semi-finals to be tense and tight, and that's the way of it at the moment. Luton Town 0, Oxford United 0. Caton. Foster. And Briggs allowing that to bounce. On by Hill, Donaghy, and again. Well played by Mal Donaghy, and he's seen the target of Mark Steen, but couldn't quite pull the ball round enough. That's a throw to Luton. Luton beaten only 3 times in their last 22 matches in League and Cup. It's been a prolific run. There goes Brian Steen, marked by Dreyer. Mark Steen's waiting in the middle. This is Grimes. Oxford certainly forming up well in defence up to now. And on the break, it's Foyle with Foster. Phillips on Mark Steen, free kick to Luton. Oh, Caton made an error of judgment there. This is Rob Johnson. Steen coming in. Oh, brilliant goal! Brian Steen. Tommy Caton will be disappointed because initially he misjudged the ball and allowed Rob Johnson to pick up the flick from Harford, and Brian Steen came in with the perfect header. Brian, who scored in the first leg to put Luton ahead at the Manor Ground, does the same at Kenilworth Road after 32 minutes. And Luton Town have struck first in this semi-final.
To be fair, I think 32 minutes gone, and that's just about a fair reflection on the play, really, because they have pushed forward, Luton, and they always looked a possibility. And on that particular occasion, Brian Steen just get in front of Gary Briggs. I don't know whether the cut played a part, but a very good header. He doesn't score a lot of headers, actually, Brian Steen, a bit like Ray Houghton last week.
Foster battling there in defence now as Oxford look for the equaliser. Trevor Hebbard. Phillips. Well, I was talking with Tommy Caton the other day about playing on this surface, and he was saying it can be so difficult for defenders to judge the way the ball's going to come off the pitch. And he finds now that his team have got to come from behind. And the Luton Town supporters starting a spot of early celebration. Brian Stein has got a special niche now in Luton Town history. The number of games that we've seen here down the years when he's the man who's come up with an important goal at a critical time. Briggs here for Oxford. Briggs again. Now, do you see any change of tactics by Oxford at this comparatively early stage with regard to the sweeper, Trevor?
Not at the moment. I think they'll wait till half-time and have a look at it, but naturally enough, the longer it goes on, then the possibility of Trevor Hebbard, who really is a very good midfield player, and I'm disappointed at times when I see him play left-back and sweeper, could well push him in to make the extra one in midfield, because naturally enough then Richard Hill, who's a midfield player, could push up and make the extra man up front, because at the moment they're not looking that dangerous.
And they're caught offside there anyway. So 36 minutes gone in the second leg of the Little Woods Cup semi-final. Luton Town 1, Oxford United 0. Brian Stein the scorer. Mick Harford closing in here with a header. Are you watching Arsenal is the chant from the Luton fans. I know that George Graham was planning to be here today. Here's Mark Stein, Brian Stein. But it may be early days yet. Oxford have got some backbone in the side, and they won't want to get overrun as they were here in the league. Here's Les Phillips for them. Grimes looking for Harford. That was Briggs. Well, they'll find Wilson unmarked here. The Steins both waiting in the penalty area. Johnson here is further back. Rob Johnson, a player who's, on his own admission, one of the luckiest men around to still be in league football. He had both knees completely rebuilt. Crucial ligaments went in both, and he supplied the pass there for the goal. He'll be pleased about that. Foster tangling with Foyle, and then having a word with Mr. Shapter before the referee can speak to him, I think. Caton's in there, it came off from Foster. This is Briggs, and it came off Harford.
He's trying to get on the score sheet there, wasn't he, Les?
Les Seeley, who's been disappointed in two semi-finals. He was in the Coventry team that was beaten by West Ham in this competition. And, of course, in Luton's FA Cup team that lost in a semi-final to Everton. David Bardsley trying to inject some fire into the Oxford attack. If you've tuned in late, Luton Town lead Oxford United by 1-0 in this second leg of the semi-final. Goal scorer Brian Stein with a header on 32 minutes. And on the balance of play, as Trevor Brookings said a moment ago, it's a deserved lead. 5 minutes left, in fact, in the first half. Here at Kenilworth Road. Poor kick by Judge. But he redeemed himself there. Here's Wilson. Caton. On the chest of Harford. This is return to him from Wilson. Ball was out. Hebbard. Rhodes Brown. Foyle. That was Brian Steen onto Wilson. And Dreyer, under challenge from Mark Steen, concedes the corner, which emphasises that Luton Town have the upper hand at this stage of the afternoon. Foster is on his way up again. Had the earlier header cleared off the line, remember. McDonough coming in, and there was a push there by him on Hill. So, what do you make of it, Trevor?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Rob Johnson would be delighted to have made the cross, because it's, looking at the Luton line-up today, Ian Allenton is cup-tired, and really they do lack a wide play, because Danny Wilson playing on the left side of midfield is really happier in the middle, as is Darren McDonough, who is playing there, and so perhaps just the lack of the wide men makes him look a little bit lopsided at times, although, of course, Rob Johnson playing on the right does mean the right-back Tim Breaker can get forward a lot.
Yes, it does, and Danny Wilson moving to the left gives Ashley Grimes a bit more space sometimes to purvey the ball from the left-back position. That was Tommy Caton on Mick Harford, and a free kick to Luton. Well, Oxford will need to form a good wall. I would think Alan Judge wants, well, at least 4 in there, maybe 5. It's pretty central. Foster sometimes likes a crack from here, but he's wandered away to the left. It's going to be possibly Ashley Grimes with the left foot. It was. Oh, it's in! What a lovely shot from Ashley Grimes. An absolute beauty, with one of the most cultured left feet in the game. Curled it right away from the keeper into the corner. A beautiful goal. And Ashley, who was injured and might have missed today's game, will be thrilled to bits with that, for more than one reason. It's put Luton Town 2-0 up, that's the first thing to be said. Here's Rhodes Brown for Oxford. But it's Grimes' first goal of the season, and coming in a week when Luton have been linked again with their old left-back Mitchell Thomas, there's plenty of reasons for the former Manchester United player to look back on that goal with some pride.
He only took a couple of steps, didn't he? But in this first 45 minutes, Luton have got the win behind them, and once it cleared the wall, although the wall did break up a bit, it did go over the top of it, and really the wind just helped carry it away from Alan Judge and into the net, and really that was a crucial goal, because just before half-time, if they'd have gone in 1-0 down, it wouldn't have been so bad, but 2-0's not so good.
In the last minute of the first half, Luton lead by 2 goals to 0, and it's all going their way. Mark Steen, number 10. Oh, Danny Wilson's free on the left if he can be seen. He's still free if he can be seen. And he wasn't. And just Mark Steen down there, it isn't as easy to see the player in space. In fact, we can't, he was way out of the picture, but he was free. And Mark Steen, from his angle, thought a shot was the best idea.
I don't think Big Brother was too pleased with him there. I think he might have a word after the game about that.
I think Mark was a bit carried away by the euphoria of the moment, Luton having just gone 2 up. Here's Richard Hill for Oxford, and now he'll get a free kick. In by Rhodes Brown, easy for the keeper. Technically that makes the aggregate score 3-1 in this semi-final, but as the first leg was drawn, we've no real need to keep referring to that. It's 2-0 to Luton, and that would be the sort of lead which, in many semi-finals, would guarantee you virtually a place at Wembley. We'll have to see if Oxford can turn this match round. Free kick against Mark Steen. Away by McDonough. The referee is very strict on players gaining ground, or I should say pinching ground at throw-ins. It's twice he's ordered a throw to be retaken. Well, no doubt Luton have created more openings in this first half, and they have 2 goals to show for it. And their fans are certainly in the best of moods. Briggs. That was Brian Steen. There was a bit of a tangle on the edge of the area. Harford, I think, penalised. On by Foyle. And a roar reverberates around Kenilworth Road at half-time as Luton Town, with Brian Steen heading the first goal and Ashley Grimes curling in the sweetest of free kicks for the second. Luton game, it's the hospital commentary which is done here every week anyway, which is actually on a loop system so that the people in the handicap area can follow the game ball by ball, as they say. And at half-time, as most of them are Luton supporters, they'll be pleased enough with the position here at Kenilworth Road. Steve Foster is back in the action, following more attention on that gash, and Oxford United don't appear to have changed the system. Trevor Hebbard has started off again in the sweeper's position. I understand that Gary Briggs, the other man in the wars in the first half, has also had 3 stitches in a cut. Number 5 for Oxford. Over the head of Saunders. Here's Dreyer. Rhodes Brown. Here's Saunders. Now David Bardsley didn't get a chance to get forward too much in the first half. Breaker. Foster. Free kick. Well, Luton should take nothing for granted here. They'll remember their last semi-final in a cup competition when they led till very close to the end against Everton and were then beaten in extra time, but they're 2 up today, and that should be, you'd think, quite a secure position. Johnson with the header. Here's Hill for Oxford, who may have something to say about that. They need to string passes together, which, as Jim Smith was saying, they rarely did, Oxford, in the first half. Rhodes-Brown. Foster.
There was a few passes astray there, wasn't there? It sort of illustrated that Oxford trying to play a couple of balls into space rather than at feet, and then they struggled.
The rain seems to have abated. I'm not so sure whether the wind might not help Oxford a little bit more in this second half, but Dean Saunders there. And it's a free kick. A goal early in the half here could change an awful lot for Oxford. There's Dreyer up there, so too is Caton. Hill's in there too. Here's Tommy Caton, but he couldn't control it. He'll get the throw. Rhodes-Brown to Foyle. Rhodes-Brown. Foyle for Bardsley, but the ball again will run on a bit on this top. Phillips. Caton has stayed up with the attack. There he is, with the header. Donaghy likewise, then Hill. Grimes. 1 against 1 here for a moment. Mark Steen with Hebbard. Brian Steen. Good running by Breaker from right back, and look at the pace. Hebbard just had enough. Phillips, Hill, a bit more space here for Oxford, but Grimes closed it down. Wilson, Harford, that's a good ball by Mick Harford. Super pass to Brian Steen, now Mark Steen, and Danny Wilson! And it's going to come to Harford! Good save by Judge. And I think the flag may be up for an offside, because when the goalkeeper's that far out, you need 2 other defenders, and a Luton player strayed behind Judge. But Mick Harford, that was a terrific move, really. The 3 passes which preceded that were super put together, and Harford's shot there saved by Judge and by the defender. Harford was involved way back on the halfway line with the ball inside, which set that up, Trevor, and it was crisp and clinical, wasn't it?
Typical Luton, wasn't it? One touch all the time, and as I say, now Oxford perhaps pushing 1 or 2 extra men forward from the back are going to be a little bit prone to that counter-attack, and Luton are so good at that. You can understand how that game ended up 7-4, and let's hope if Oxford do concede a third, you wonder what will happen then.
I think if Danny Wilson had finished that move first time round, it might have been the goal of the season. Actually, Luton had a candidate for that in the first leg, didn't they? Danny Wilson was blocked by the keeper at the end there. Luton 2-0 up in this semi-final, playing for a place in the Little Woods Cup final against Arsenal at Wembley on the 24th of April. Rhodes-Brown, Breaker, Foyle, Les Phillips making the run, but not much to bother Les Seeley so far today. A lot of Luton's football a tribute to their manager Ray Harford, one of the most respected coaches in the game. They were nipped in the bud there, were Luton. And Oxford with Trevor Hebbard, perhaps wanting to come out a bit more now in the second half. McDonough's tackle, Briggs. And there's Ray in his first season as manager, but he was here for a year as coach before that. Dreyer. And Foster. Rob Johnson and Gary Briggs. Oh, Breaker, a good challenge. It's a Luton throw. Anybody who's joined the match in the second half, the goal scorers in the first half for Luton, Brian Steen on 32 minutes and Ashley Grimes from a free kick, curled in just before the interval. Seeley forward for Luton. Harford. Johnson. Dreyer's header, Phillips. Hebbard. Well played. Oh, he was caught late there by Darren McDonough, was Trevor Hebbard. Foster up with Foyle. Nothing much has got past Foster or Donaghy. But here's Dreyer now, lending the extra man to the Oxford attack, and this time Foster stoops, literally, to less than legal means of stopping them. So it's a free kick to Oxford. Mr. Shapter insisting that the Luton players retreat the full 10 yards. Rhodes-Brown took it. A disappointing free kick, really.
Well, everyone's pointing what should have happened there. He tried to take it very quick, catch everyone asleep, but he caught his own side asleep as well. It's very difficult. They've got a mountain to climb, haven't they, Oxford, really? And it's difficult to see when they're struggling in the league, you know, to lift players' confidence. They've got, I think, the worst defensive record in the First Division. And going into a semi-final, it's very difficult suddenly to wipe that away out of your memory and come in and sort of play as if you're confident. And I think their league form is reflected in the performance so far, unfortunately.
Yes, just to bear that out, Oxford haven't won a league game since the 7th of November. While Luton have had this purple patch. And as Jimmy Hill said at the start of the programme, could go to Wembley 4 times in theory. Hebbard. Wilson, Harford. Brian Steen, Ashley Grimes, the 2 goal scorers combining there. It was a late challenge. It was Martin Foyle on Ashley Grimes. So it's a free kick to Luton. Grimes. It's a bit long for Harford this time. And they're going to leave the throw for Rob Johnson. Harford. Johnson again. Foster. Mark Steen. Harford. Briggs. Steve Foster, who missed the first match when Brighton reached the cup final, at the FA Cup final that was, 5 years ago. You may recall he was suspended, played in the replay. He'd like to go there first time. And the way the match is poised at the moment, it's beginning to look as though he will. That's Harford's flick to Wilson. Luton are playing with some style. Mark Steen. Hebbard. Hill. Whereas Oxford have been tentative, Luton have been assured. More certain of their passing, more confident in their team play, more definite in their pattern. And they have a free kick here. Dreyer. That's McDonough.
Well, that was one that didn't go outside the ground, but certainly if they lose many more footballs, just as well they are going to Wembley.
Well, they have Portsmouth to come here in the FA Cup 6th round. They're already through to the Mercantile Classic and the CMOD Cup. That is another opening for Luton. They play Stoke here next week, or this week later. Here's Harford. Grimes. Mark Steen. Saunders has been blocked out of it by Donaghy. Forward by Johnson. On by Mark Steen. In towards Brian Steen.
Once again, Luton just stepping up the pressure, and Jim Smith mentioned at half-time, if you play sort of 5 minutes as centre-back, we just see this Rob Johnson again chipping it forward. Just skidding off Mark Steen. Tight angle. But if you play 5 men at the back, you really have to get the two fullbacks, as John Dreyer and David Barsley for Oxford, going forward. Otherwise, they're going to be in real trouble and never get support for the two front strikers.
Yes, that's the kernel of it as far as Oxford are concerned so far today. Just haven't given themselves much in the way of attacking options, or rather Luton have denied them that, I suppose. Here's Johnson. So there we are, the second half, 15 minutes old. The score's still 2-0 to Luton Town. On course for Wembley in the Littlewoods Cup at this stage. Foster's so confident when he comes to meet the ball. Oh, well played first by Grimes, not so good this time by Brian Steen. Saunders. And there's a tussle between McDonough and Foyle. Oxford have won on this surface in the past, so they won't be making excuses about the pitch. Tommy Caton is up for the free kick, so is Gary Briggs. Les Seeley comes for it. Here's Bardsley. Mark Steen. Harford. Steen again, his brother's in the middle. Briggs away, only to Wilson. Good save by Judge.
It was a good save, and it was a good shot, actually, because on this sort of surface, you don't have to blast them, you can just side foot them firmly, and that's what Danny Wilson did, and it was heading for the corner, but he got down very well, Alan Judge.
Saunders to Rhodes-Brown. In the middle is Foyle. Away by Grimes. Well, Oxford might just see that as a let-off. If it had been 3-0, it would surely have been all over. Can they pull one back here? Phillips on the ball now. You do feel, the way matches go, that Oxford are due for a spell of attacking. Phillips. But their passing has been nothing like as good as that of Luton. Possession being 9/10 of the football law. It's Luton who are in the ascendancy. Hebbard. Oh, nice little ball that. Foyle back to Rhodes-Brown. But I'm afraid the crosses, when Oxford have got into that position, have been below the standard you'd expect. Well, Oxford substitutes are Gary Shelton and David Leeworthy. And from that picture, it looks as though both will shortly be in the action. Here's Bardsley. Dreyer. Back to him by Foyle. Chance of a cross here, maybe. It's a better one. And Phillips with Seeley, who took it right off his head.
At least it was good to see John Dreyer there get to the byline. Here he is, getting quite a good cross, and unfortunately for him, probably it was little Les Phillips, number 10, who was in there trying to get a header in, and poor little Les would have needed his stepladder there.
The players who will come off here are Rhodes-Brown, I think, and Hill, and the players going on are Gary Shelton and David Leeworthy. Double change by Oxford. Ray Graydon down there on the bench, just organising the substitution. Now, Gary Shelton plays in midfield, wearing number 14, and Leeworthy is a striker, wearing number 12. More of them later. Here's Dreyer. Leeworthy actually has been out of the game for quite a while, best part of a year. Cartilage operation and then competition from other strikers at the Manor Ground have kept him in the background. But he did score in the reserves in the week. And Oxford will be hoping that he might change things here today. Number 12, Hebbard. That was Grimes, away from Foyle. There goes Leeworthy. Oh, good ball by Wilson for Brian Steen, away from Hebbard, away from Judge, but the angle just too tight. But what an exciting move again, involving Brian Steen.
Yes, he comes so well, Danny Wilson, who provided the through ball. There he goes, Brian Steen coming from deep, took it on, and unfortunately again the pitch just taking it away. On a natural grass surface, I think he would have been able to at least got a cross in, perhaps not a shot.
Gary Shelton beaten by Wilson in the air. Luton throw off the Oxford head there. Foyle. And we sometimes have viewers joining the match as it goes on. It's 2-0 to Luton Town. Scorers Brian Steen and Ashley Grimes in the first half. We're about halfway through the second half now. And Oxford, obviously, with a great deal to do here if they're going to stop Luton's march towards Wembley. But you're stretched to think of a direct scoring chance that Oxford have created, or a difficult save that Seeley has had to make. Leeworthy. Foul by McDonough, who seems to have got the worst of it. So a free kick to Oxford. Bardsley is placing the ball. They've got Gary Briggs to come in from the far side from the kicker. And Bardsley drove it, and Les Sealey grabbed it as Saunders ran in. And it was a sign that even a little bit of luck might be on Luton's side today. It came there. Bardsley drove that fiercely. It skidded through a crowd, and Sealey fumbled it at first, but he got back to gather it. Meantime, Tim Breaker for Luton took... Just a hint of a chance for Oxford there, Trevor.
Yes, I think Les Sealey will be thinking about that one tonight. He'll have a few action replays in his mind and be quite relieved to see it on each occasion end up in his hands again.
Mick Harford, both the Steens to his right. Wilson takes over. McDonough, Harford, that was neat. Goes round Briggs. As you said, he has got rather more to offer on the ground than many people realise.
Yes, he did very well, and I'm sure, having sampled a bit of the England atmosphere in Israel, he'll be pushing hard in these remaining 2 or 3 months to force his way into that final squad of 20.
When you think of the games he's missed through injury and suspension, Mick Harford, his record for the season before today was 16 goals in 26 games. That has to be a very good ratio, especially when you bear in mind he's made a few as well. And again, the throw-in not taken from the correct position. That was David Bardsley. And so once more, Mr. Shapter enforces the letter of the law.
Yes, the players don't look too pleased with it. I think that's about the 8th or 9th occasion. Interesting, Oxford now, by the way, have abandoned their 3 centre-backs now. Trevor Harford is, in fact, pushed up and he's going to play in midfield, but I think has to be the right decision, really, at this stage.
Yes, Oxford have got to throw caution to the wind rather now, as their Wembley dream begins to fade. And the image of those Twin Towers sharpens in the mind of all the Luton Town supporters. They've waited 29 years. Brian Steen. Foster, tower of strength again. Harford. Brian Steen. Mark Steen puzzling Dreyer for a moment, and Judge came to claim it. We do have a Man of the Match award today. I've no doubt those of you at home will have your own ideas. And the official recipient will be announced at the end of the game. I think I'll just stay slightly on the fence by saying that it'll probably be a Luton player. Phillips back to Caton. Leeworthy's in there, so is Saunders. Brian Steen to Wilson. There are a few candidates, actually, at this stage. Who's your man so far, Trevor?
Well, there's a little trio at the moment. I would think Brian Steen and Mickey Hartford, and then at the back, Stevie Foster, who's been a tower of strength.
That was Foyle. We don't want to upset the Oxford supporters by suggesting it's all over. There's still around 20 minutes left, and games have turned, as their fans are well aware, in that sort of period in cup matches. No sign of it so far, but that's not to say Oxford can't mount a late rally. We shall see. Saunders. Now, Brian Steen. Harford, oh, look at that. What a great first touch by Mick Harford, and a pity that Mark Steen's footing let him down on that occasion. Dreyer, Breaker, Johnson. Nice little ball dinked to Mark Steen. Breaker. Forward by Caton. Dean Saunders striving hard to find some room up there. Here's Leeworthy, who's been on for a few minutes. Saunders again. Foyle. That's a better move. Lovely pass. Bardsley for Oxford. Leeworthy closing in. So is Saunders here. And it ran off his foot. May have been surprised to see it come past Steve Foster in the first place, Dean Saunders. But it was certainly Oxford's best chance so far, Trevor.
It was a great ball across the face of the goal, and Stevie Foster sliding in, I think, just distracted Dean Saunders, but I think Dean Saunders will know in his own mind that if they are going to get back into this game, I think that was the opportunity to do it.
David Bardsley, whose strength is coming forward on the right-hand side, slid a very good ball in there. Might give Oxford some encouragement. There goes Saunders again, Donaghy's header. Appeals for handball against Leeworthy, waved away by the referee. Bardsley again. Saunders coming in, Foster's header. That was the first sign of a mistake from Foster, I think, on that cross. But a very good pass, which favoured the attacker, really. Crowd inside Kenilworth Road, up the tempo a bit. As every minute ticks by, Luton are closer to Wembley. Only there once before in their 103 years. That was in 1959, in the days of Sid Owen. But there we are then, they're just about 15 minutes away, aren't they? And there'll be a few Luton players in this team who will have a special place in the club's history, perhaps after this season. Flag was up there for offside. All this being achieved without the likes of Ricky Hill and David Priest, who've been injured for so long, and Nwajobi as well. Harford is back there, helping the defence now. Danny Wilson. And to be doubly fair to Oxford, they're also without Neil Slatter, who hasn't played for a long time, and the lad they signed to play in defence, Colin Greenall, he can't play because, like Allinson of Luton, he's cup-tied. Foster's foul, free kick to Oxford. Is there a way back then for the team who are 2-0 down? Caton is in there, so is Dreyer. Ebbard to take it. Away by Grimes. Bardsley, there are plenty of players to aim at here. Push and shove. So, a few minutes here with the play back in the Luton half. Hasn't happened much. But Oxford don't find the cutting edge required to disturb Seeley and his defenders. Wilson. And now Bardsley. Foyle calling on the far side. Coming in now. Breaker had to head the ball back across. Leeworthy! Oh, and it was too... might have been a player offside there. It was driven so hard, I don't think either of the Oxford players could have made proper contact. It's been a better 5 or 10 minutes for Oxford, this. They've strung a few moves together. Lee Worthy cracked that across the goal. I think John Dreyer may have either handled it or even been offside. Phillips. Breaker. Caton and Harford. Foster and Foyle. Dreyer for Oxford. Brian Steen. Does Oxford take the risk or two that they have to? Luton may engineer something on the break. Foul by Lee Worthy on Wilson. Actually, Wilson in the picture there nearly became an Oxford player when he moved from Brighton. I think he's feeling now he made the right choice. Free kick to Luton, who lead 2-0. Harford's coming in here. Brian Steen hopeful. And the referee has given a free kick against Brian Steen for the challenge on Alan Judge.
Brian Steen looking a bit surprised there. I think he nearly had his head punched off anyway, but I think Brian Steen said, "You're joking" there, I think, if I was a lip reader. There's the incident. It bounces up and really, I can't really see how he said it was a foul by Brian Steen, quite honestly, but still.
Ray Harford will be just checking the watch minute by minute, taking nothing for granted, but he's got reason to feel very proud of his Luton side just at this moment. And the supporters too. Brian Steen. Wilson. Oh, it's opening up now for Luton. Can it go right? No, it's gone left to Mark Steen. Rob Johnson was free on the other side. When they break with pace and precision passing, Luton. And on this surface, that's all important. And their supporters have reason now to start thinking about trying to get tickets for the Littlewoods Cup final. Caton. Dreyer for Oxford. That was Lee Worthy. Dreyer again. Hebbard. Shelton, no. Foyle onto Dreyer. And away by Donaghy. So, around 9 minutes to go in this semi-final. Luton Town, as you can hear from the crowd at Kenilworth Road, in a very strong position to make modern club history and go to Wembley. Grimes thumps the ball forward. Foyle, Lee Worthy. Oh, look at that from Ashley Grimes. Brian Steen. Little triangles of passing again by Luton Town. Somewhat spoiled there by Foster's clearance, but if you had to find a word for his Luton team, I think the best word would be neat. Quick too. Here's Brian Steen. Mark Steen coming in behind Bardsley. Oh, looked a bit short at first. And judge his expression, he may have agreed with that. Breaker. Foster. Hebbard. Dreyer back to Hebbard. Oh, chest by McDonough, look at that. And now it's opening up again. Brian Steen to Mark Steen. 6 Luton players coming forward. I don't think Mark Steen was really very interested in the other 5.
Walking back there, I think, knowing that he made the wrong selection, to say the least. Danny Wilson and Ashley Grimes were galloping along the left wing, and we're not too pleased to see that one flash past the post from about 35 yards out.
Well, Oxford had their moment at Wembley 2 years ago, and I don't think when this match is over, if they do lose it, they'll begrudge Luton Town a Wembley appearance based on the 2 legs that we've seen. But wait, here's Hebbard with Grimes. In goes Phillips. Forward by Shelton. Grimes again. Every Luton touch being cheered now. Brian Steen. Harford's trying to stay onside. We've said all this about Luton finishing in cups. Going to Wembley possibly 4 times. They're also on course, maybe, for their best league position. So it's been quite a season here at Kenilworth Road, and those home supporters are enjoying every minute of it. There's a good, hearty atmosphere inside the ground. I suppose with a nickname like the Hatters, there'll be a few fancy bits of headwear being prepared for Wembley, if that's the way it goes. There's still some football to be played here yet. It's a free kick to Oxford United. Could they somehow initiate a recovery, which would have to be quite dramatic now? Bardsley's moved to the right. It's Tommy Caton, fired it into the back of his own player, Gary Shelton. Wilson on the break for Luton. Mark Steen. Grimes. Wilson. Ashley Grimes cross, away by Caton. Well, with 5 minutes to go, you can probably sense the excitement here. This is Johnson. Many of Luton's supporters not old enough to remember their last Wembley appearance, their only Wembley appearance in '59. Forward by Grimes, and Brian Steen ahead of Gary Briggs. Judge coming out. Mark Steen won it back. Nick Harford. Just Brian Steen in the middle at the moment. Oh, Oxford have given it away carelessly. Sometimes takes a long while to get it back, but it isn't this time because Mark Steen slipped over. Well, the Luton chairman, David Evans, under whose regime this club has made such progress, was telling me before the match that they've calculated a trip to Wembley will put £500,000 in the bank. And in these days of high football finance, that prize, as well as the glory of going to Wembley, is quite significant. And to deny Luton that, Oxford must now score twice in about 3 minutes. Tommy Caton to John Dreyer. Well, it's happened before in cup ties. But Luton look as though they're ensuring it won't happen here. This is Hebbard. Foster. Crawford. Now Dreyer. Lofted across towards Foyle, but Seeley's held on well to those. Brian Steen, Harford. Brian Steen, he's through! Good save again by Judge. He was a good judge there because he met Steen at just the right moment.
Another great move between Mickey Harford and Brian Steen again. A perfect 1-2 and just skidded away from him and allowed Alan Judge to come out and spread himself.
Phillips for Oxford. Hebbard. Floated through towards Leeworthy. Brian Steen could have just sealed it there, but Alan Judge, as Trevor said, saving with his legs. But Brian will remember the goal he did score, and indeed the one in the first leg which set up Luton for this, what appears to be now a home victory. Well, the dying minutes of the semi-final, in fact we're in the last minute of normal time. Here's Phillips. Dreyer. Caton crossing. Away by Donaghy. Dreyer's cross once more. Now Seeley again. One of the loudest cheers of the season here, I would think. There's going to be quite an ovation and a response on the final whistle here. You can almost feel this little ground trembling with excitement as Luton savour the prospect of Wembley for such a long time as one of the game's lesser lights, but not now. We're going into stoppage time. Luton Town 2, Oxford United 0. Flags up anyway. Looked like a foul by Foster. So there may just be a few seconds more anxiety for Luton. Oh, and I have to report, sadly, there's a young man on the pitch, which we could well do without. In fact, he's gone behind the goal now. Caton's in there. Foster allowed it to go. What's happening here is the crowd is so excited. Some of them have spilled over the barriers, only, I think, in celebration at this stage. And the police are trying to hold them back behind Les Seeley's goal. All eyes on Lester Shapter, the man with the watch. And there it is. Luton Town are through to Wembley for the first time in a cup final in 29 years, and deservedly so. 2-0 on the day, 3-1 on aggregate in this Littlewoods Cup semi-final, and what scenes of excitement here as the Luton players run for the dressing room, sportingly congratulated by a few of the